So this is my final project on making a difference. In my presentation, I'm going to go over the top values, CQ, and ISO 26000, the ISO core subjects and principles. Then I did some research on mental health in young adults, which leads to my company. So my top values are based on honesty, and I feel like that kind of umbrellas over authenticity, individuality, and integrity. I based them on a childhood story where I basically used to prank my parents in the morning about there being a dead mouse on the floor. I don't really remember how long I did it, but one day there finally was a dead mouse, and I was really serious about it. I kept trying to wake them up to tell them, and it took them hours to get up and find it, and they didn't believe me, which back then, I was probably 5 or 6, so that was really hurtful. And I feel like that kind of taught me a lot about trust and honesty at a young age, even though the story's kind of ironic and kind of silly. So, yeah, understanding the importance of honesty and trust in personal relationships, from playful deception to realizing the significance of honesty and authenticity. I feel like that's kind of been an ongoing value of mine throughout my whole life. And then I have this quote by an author, Zig Ziglar. I think that's how you say it. The foundation stones for a balanced success are honesty, character, integrity, faith, love, and loyalty. I feel like I really resonate with that. It was just a random quote I found, but I really liked it, and I thought it fit my values. So, cultural intelligence is the capability to function effectively in culturally diverse settings and having the knowledge, skills, and abilities to understand and adapt to different cultural contexts. So, over here I have this graph. I didn't make it, I just found it online, but the 3 parts include heart, which is your openness, your acceptance, body, which is awareness and skills in real life situations, and the mind, which is perception. I don't remember the specifics of my results, but I did get a pretty high score on the CQ test. I also found that my answers to the questions were kind of based more on, like, cultural differences as a whole, not necessarily, like, cultural differences geographically, but I kind of thought about, like, the culture of St. Joe's versus the culture of, say, UMaine, culture of my household versus the culture of someone else's household. I just felt like that was kind of an umbrella for, I don't know, differences as a whole. I kind of also see it as, I don't remember what it was called, but basically, seeing the higher view of things. Sorry, I don't remember what that was, but, yeah, so in my essay, I also talked about how the CQ test aligned with my values, such as accountability, honesty, and respecting cultural differences. So here I have the ISO 7 principles and the ISO 7 core subjects. I bolded accountability, transparency, and ethical behavior because I feel like those kind of align with my values. I also bolded respect for stakeholder interests because I think that aligns later on with the company I came up with. So these are my takeaways. The ISO is basically like a cheat code for running a business. When they're used, the company can make money and make a positive impact on society. And it's mainly about recognizing the ripple effects of our decisions, actions, and how they affect the rest of the world. So, based on all of that, I did a bunch of research on mental wellness for young adults, and I found a bunch of statistics on the demographic between ages 18 to 25, which would mostly be college students. So, I found that over 60% of college students meet criteria for at least one mental health problem during the 2020 to 2021 school year. Counseling centers are unable to meet the surge for demand care despite increases in staffing. Some of the biggest contributing factors for these issues are directly related to the pandemic, economic strain, schoolwork, and relationships. And nearly 3/4 of students reported moderate or severe psychological distress. So not just like your typical anxiety, like it's like some heavy stuff. Over here, I have a graph that I found. The blue is the percentage of those college students who considered suicide, and orange is those that didn't. In blue is 36.9%, which is over half of the 60% of students meeting the criteria for at least one health problem or mental health problem. And this is of March 8th, 2024. These down here, I have a couple different age demographics. So 18 to 25 in blue is those with mental illness. It's at 29.4%. 26 to 49 is at only 25, and 50 plus is only at 14. So 18 to 25 is pretty much everything I looked at. It kind of was, I don't know, I guess that age group is the highest and most susceptible to mental health problems. And I didn't include it in my slides, but I also did some research on the connection to drug use. More than 20% of college students were exposed to opportunities to use cocaine in the past year. A high percentage of adults between the ages 18 to 25 suffer from prescription painkiller abuse or prescription opioid abuse. So that could also be directly linked to the mental health kind of epidemic we're seeing. And I do have that information cited in my last slide. So based on that research, I wanted to make a company to kind of combat those issues. My mission statement right here is, my company is dedicated to fostering mental wellness and self-care practices among young adults, empowering them to lead fulfilling and balanced lives. So what we offer is mindfulness and meditation products. I thought that could include like pillows, blankets, journals, books. I also wanted to include a self-care subscription box that could include all those products I just listed, and maybe like services, discounts, fun little goodie bags, stuff like that. Community support groups, so maybe implementing things like that around campus or around town. I know right now at St. Joe's we have Mindful Monks, which they do like origami and fun little activities, and it's supposed to just be for practicing mindfulness. We also have Project Connect, which I did do. That was a really good one, and their goal was kind of to do a similar thing to what I wanted my company to do. And then we have Resource Hub and Blog. I figured that could be for people, online resource for people giving advice, people sharing their stories, people just talking about whatever. And so how can we spread the word? I also feel like this kind of applies to like how we can sustain ourselves. I wanted to encourage user-generated content. So kind of like free marketing, students and people leaving reviews, posting stuff on social media, stuff like that. Also utilizing social media, so spreading the word on like TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and then offering student discounts. I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but also creating a loyalty program to kind of reward users and customers for staying with us. I feel like all of that can kind of market and sustain us. Out of the core subjects, I feel like my company aligns most with human rights, since I feel like working on your mental health is kind of a human right, and it should be more accessible. That's kind of why I made the company, so that it could be more accessible and not such a hush-hush kind of issue. I thought it also aligned with consumer issues, because even though we're not necessarily recycling products or really putting the emphasis on anything too eco-friendly. I feel like the products kind of like, where we're selling books and notebooks and pillows, I feel like that's not a one and done type of thing. Like, you're going to keep something like that forever or gift it to your friends, your family. So, and they promote mental wellness and self-care, so I figured it tackled consumer issues. And then I have the environment. My company better serves the environment by making college communities a safer and more positive place for students and faculty. As far as the principles, I feel like it aligned with transparency, ethical behavior, and especially respect for stakeholders, especially where I wanted people to really be involved with the company or organization, whatever, giving their insights, stuff like that. For the Sustainable Development Goals, I think our company aligns to good health and well-being. We do this by encouraging adults to take care of their mental health. We offer resources and tools to help them feel better mentally. I also feel like it contributes to quality education. I guess I didn't really talk too much about how we would educate, but I feel like our community groups and resource blogs, stuff like that, I feel like that could be educational. Reduce inequalities. Basically, one of the biggest goals is to basically destigmatize the stigma around mental health. I know it's talked about a lot in high school where like there's assemblies and stuff like that, but I feel like once you get to college, especially for me personally, I don't know, you just don't hear about it as much. Like, there's not a lot of like get-togethers and announcements about any sort of mental health thing. I feel like a lot of students are just kind of left to their own devices. So yeah, I feel like it really does destigmatize it, my company. And that's it. These are my references. Thank you.